Cool. Okay. I think we can move on. Next slide. Yeah, in case you guys forgot about us, my name is Tendon. I'm a sophomore at Middlebury studying English. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves as well?
Yeah, I can go next. I'm Chamde. I'm at Wesleyan and I'm studying education and East Asian studies.
And I'm Norzen. I'm originally from the Bay Area, but I'm currently first year at Columbia, and I'm also undecided.
Great. And Rabyung and Kunsang weren't able to make it today, but you'll probably see you met Kunsang last time, but you'll see Rabyung around in the future. But let's just like kick things off by talking about exciting stuff. So just curious about what you guys are excited about for this summer. Chamdu, do you want to start? What are you excited about?
I think just spending time with my sister. Last summer, I was at a program in India, so I think I'm just happy to be home. I'm gonna popcorn it to Nonzi.
I actually was thinking of applying to that program in India this summer. I don't know though.
Our program?
Yeah.
How about you can talk to me all about it if you have any questions, and for anybody else in the future if you want to apply. Yeah.
But yeah, I might do that. Let me see. Sidi? Lindsay Sidi?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm excited because I'm going to India for the first time in 11 years. So I don't remember it. And yeah, I'm excited to go back. And I'll popcorn it to Tiring Dolkar.
I'm excited about my summer program in BU. I'll popcorn it to Chuki.
I think I'm excited about maybe getting a job so I can work and make money. I'll popcorn it to Norden.
I'm excited because I'm going to the DR for 2 weeks this summer for like this leadership program. Oh, and I'll popcorn it to Tenzin Pilsong.
It's Pisong, and I'm not really excited for anything this summer. I think I want to pass it to Soltram Pasang or Soltram Nyaliksan.
I'm going to Ladakh, so I'm pretty excited. I like to popcorn it to Deshe.
I'm excited about some summer programs that I'm applying to, and I also might be going to Gava. Okay, I'll popcorn it to Dinzi Yunde.
I'm excited about doing an internship in the summer and guess playing more basketball. I'll pass it on to Gunsong.
I'm excited to go to India and visit my family and also my summer programs. I'll pass it to Maya and Nima.
Yeah, I'm excited to be done with school because right now it's really stressful. But yeah, so I'll pass it to who hasn't gone yet. Has everyone gone?
I haven't gone yet, sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah. Dindy Kondo.
Thank you. I'm excited about going to Costa Rica for 2 weeks, where I'm going with my classmates and a bunch of other schools, and we're gonna help out indigenous villages. And I'll pass it on to Tenzing Delawa.
Yes, hi. I'm excited to do some internships I applied to. Am I supposed to point it out to someone?
Yeah, I think we have like 2 more people that haven't gone yet. Jordan, did you go? Oh, right, he's in the math class. Okay, sorry
Can you
about
hear
that.
me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, because I'm in a math tutoring class right now, so I can't like
Okay,
concentrate between two things.
all right, no worries. Cool. Thank you all for sharing. This is really exciting stuff here. Yeah, a lot of people going to India, which is like really nice to hear, because like I don't know, like since the pandemic, Jamdo, you said you went last year, right? But I don't know. I feel like I haven't heard of people going like since like the pandemic. But like it's nice to hear that. Also heard there's like a TIPA program now for the summer. Like my little sister really wanted to go to that one, but yeah. Okay, cool. I'm okay. I was gonna share my summer plans, but it's okay. So this workshop,
No, you go, you share.
okay, I'm just like working this semester, this summer and saving up money. So because in the fall I'm gonna be studying abroad at Oxford. So I want to like save up as much money as possible and spend it in Europe. Okay, so let's get into this workshop. So it's good to start thinking about what colleges you want to apply to, but in order to get started in that process, we need to start thinking about the metrics we want to use to compare colleges amongst each other. And then from there on, we can talk about like preferences, so we can put them in the categories of safety, target, and reach. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later on, but then through this workshop, you should just expect to learn about what you should look for in colleges that you research, but also like how to compare them to each other and to think about your fit there as well.
Okay, so one of the first factors when researching colleges you can look at is location. And for me personally, this was like one of the most important factors I was looking at. So we have urban, suburban, and rural. And urban areas being obviously colleges set in like major cities. For example, Columbia is in New York City. And then suburban, we have, as an example, Tufts University. So it's nearby Boston, but not right in it. But there's easy access to it, but you still have like an element of some type of quiet residential area. And then lastly, we have rural. So an example of that is Middlebury, I guess. So yeah, you're kind of in the wilderness. But yeah, some people like that. And it's like, I guess, easier to study or yeah. But when I was researching colleges, I was really looking at all the Tibetan communities across America. So I kind of did a lot of research on that and what was the Tibetan population in the area of the college that I was looking at, because I wanted to be close to our community, to stay connected, to be able to participate in like Losa or things like that. So I wouldn't forget like our customs. But that was just a thing that I was looking at personally.
I was
Uh,
gonna add real quick. If you could go back to the previous slide. Yeah, just to think about like location overall, obviously there are a lot of benefits to being in this city. Like you have access to a lot of opportunities. But when I was like considering where I wanted to go, I was choosing between Boston and the middle of nowhere in Vermont. Boston, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of nightlife, a lot of internship opportunities, but then there are other, I don't know how to say it, there are other advantages to like opening your window and seeing a bunch of cows, but like being in an environment where being in an environment that really allows you to focus was something else that I considered. So like when we were touring colleges with my dad was like looking around when we were in Vermont. He was like, wow, the loved it the dance and like he was like holding his phone out and like recording everything. Like yeah. But obviously you won't understand the full feel of the location until you get there and like feel it for yourself. But at the same time, you can make a lot of assumptions about what the location implies as well.
Yeah, I also just want to add in something. If you go to a school in a more urban area, there is a lot more nightlife or other things to do, but something else you can consider are the expenses. It'll probably be more expensive to have a social life. It might even be a little bit more dangerous, even if you don't have a traditional campus. For me, I knew that I didn't want to be next to like cornfields and cows. I think I'm in a more suburban area, so I kind of have the best of both worlds. But also something else to think about is similar to expenses, like how often do you want to be able to go home? How much do you want to pay for that? Like I go to school in Connecticut and I'm from New York, and still like train tickets and bus tickets aren't cheap. Sometimes schools may offer like free shuttle services and all, but just keep in mind what's going to be in your budget. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And next we have different types of institutions, public versus private. And the main difference being that public relies on state and federal government, and tuition and fee subsidized by basically like government fees. And then private institutions don't rely on state or federal fees. It's just the student tuition that they get, grants and contributions that their alumni make. So that's the main difference. And from that, generally public colleges or universities have less percentage of need met because of like the way that they get their funding. And private colleges are usually on the opposite side. So usually there's a higher percentage of need met. That being said, like some public colleges do have a high need met. It's just a matter of researching. And I know like usually when you start researching colleges, I think there's like this stereotype that private universities are too expensive and there's no way we could be able to afford that. But if you really like do the research and look at like how many percentage of the need met, or I'm not sure if people know what that means either. But basically it's like if you need $1,000 to attend this college, which is not realistic. But anyways, if you need $1,000, like colleges like Harvard, which are 100% need met, technically, they will give you that $1,000 versus like a public school, which is only like 70% need met, would give you less than what you need. So hopefully that made sense. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
Yeah, and it also depends on which state you're in. So for example, if I am from New York and I want to go to UC Berkeley, there are going to be fewer opportunities for scholarships and like direct financial aid. So it'll probably end up being more expensive versus like going to like Stony Brook in New York, which like if you're a New York resident, and you apply to college, public colleges in New York, it'll likely be much cheaper, and you probably have a lot of aid that comes with it as well. So it really varies on that public side.
Yeah, I think it also varies on you as an applicant and how much your family contribution will be. Oh no, my internet connection's unstable. If I cut off, I'm sorry. But like, for example, with me, compared to the private and public schools that I applied to, some of the state schools I got into gave me like the most they could give me, but I still couldn't afford to attend it. Whereas the private schools gave me like a whole bunch of money. So it was like, okay, like obviously I would pick the one that gives me more. So again, it varies on the college, but it also will depend on you as an applicant. So just, yeah.
Okay, and the next one are the differences between liberal arts college and a research university. So liberal arts colleges are usually smaller in size, and that's because they only have programs for undergraduates, so no graduate students. And so usually that means like the focus is all on the undergraduate experience. So you would be getting a really fulfilling, I guess, undergraduate college experience through that. But also like usually because of the name liberal arts, there's a lot of emphasis on, you know, exploring various different fields. So you get a well-rounded education. I'm assuming a lot of general education requirements, just a push to like get out of your comfort zone, try different fields, and not just focus on one thing. Versus a research university is going to be bigger in size because they have undergraduate and both undergraduate and graduate. And then you can focus, I mean, if you really have a major that you are really set on or something that you're really passionate about, you can just focus on that from the get-go. And a lot of their funds go towards research. So if you're really into that, you can work with like professors or things like that. But yeah, those are the main differences between the two.
I can also add, so I have a friend who goes to Boston University, and we were comparing our course loads for our first year, and he was taking like a physics class, a chemistry class, a math class, and like some other like general like liberal arts course. But in my liberal arts college experience, let me tell you about some of the classes I took. So first one I took was it was called Virginia Woolf in Context, right? It's just like a general literature class. The other one was called Spacing, which was like, it was an art class, but like the whole concept was you just like cut cardboard and like represent how people move through spaces. And then the other class I took was like a class called Buddhist Traditions in India. Like the professor knew how to speak Tibetan, and that was cool, but like at the same time, I'm just letting you guys know about this variation so that you can understand the difference between a liberal arts college and a research university.
But that's also not to say that like in liberal arts colleges, there is no opportunities for research or STEM or anything. My roommate is actually very much into bio and STEM. I go to Wesleyan, we're very, I think, liberal arts-ish. But we also have like a pretty decent science program, and we have a lot of funding that's going to research. We're also actually in the process of building a new science building. So just like keep your, like just, it's not black and white is what I'm trying to say. But there are like benefits and drawbacks to each of them depending on your interests.
Another thing I wanted to add was that the idea of like class sizes in a university versus like a liberal arts college, that's something that you could also look for. Like if you really thrive and learn well in smaller classrooms, I mean, generally liberal arts college is gonna have that just because they don't have graduate students, it's just undergrads. And then research university is gonna be like 300 people in your intro to comp sci class, and people are sitting on the floor. So like there's really a difference there, but also, you know, like some big universities have like really small classes. Like my Tibetan class is like 5 people, including me. So, I mean, every class is not gonna be like, I mean, depending on a college versus university, there's really a difference because some colleges could also have really big classrooms for like an intro to bio class too. But just think about class size and the type of interactions that you want to have with your professors and classmates.
Yeah, I can take over from here. So GPA, I'm sure everybody already knows. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Just something to add is that taking honors or AP classes or just anything that's like, you know, slightly above the regular classes will weigh or probably will weigh more on your overall average. I guess it depends on your school, whatever the policy is. So just keep an eye out for that is all I really have to say. Does anyone else have anything to say on that?
I guess like for the last bullet point we had, like the higher the better, which is true. But obviously if you had like unforeseen circumstances or family thing, medical thing happen to you, you can always explain that in the additional information section of your Common App or whatever application platform you use. And I feel like personally, ever since like the pandemic, colleges have become really lenient on that part, just because, I mean, the pandemic's still like kind of ongoing, and I mean, there's like a huge impact from that. So I feel like they would be understanding.
Yeah, and then standardized testing, we all know ACT, SAT. They test the same topics generally, I think. The ACT just has, I think it's more questions with less time. And then the SAT has fewer questions, but there's supposed to be like more challenging because you have more time for each of them. I'm not sure which is easier, which is harder. You have the freedom to pick whichever one. I think colleges are more and more becoming test optional. And again, like same, what I wanted to say for the previous slide, I was just waiting for this, is like, it's very easy to feel like this number is going to define you, but trust me, it's not. I had a pretty shit SAT score. I took it twice. I didn't even submit it to the current college I go to. And it's okay. So don't feel like you're done for if you don't have a good standardized test score, or if your GPA is like up and down. Obviously it does matter, like I'm not going to be blind to that. But there are so many other parts of your application that we'll be discussing later that you can really use to showcase yourself. Anybody else?
One thing I was gonna add is like, if you feel like another part of your application is lacking, like I don't know, you weren't in a lot of clubs, you could really try to get like a good score on standardized testing, and that's another thing that could boost your application. Just because a lot of, like Chum just said, a lot of colleges are going test optional, so like some kids might not submit scores, but then if you have like a high score, that might make you stand out. But that's just like an extra added thing, and it really depends on like your application, who you are as a student.
Also, I just have one more thing. This is kind of more like personal. I think a lot of like parents and I don't know, just people within our community are like talking about SAT prep and comparing scores and all that. Just don't let it affect you, you know. Some people can't afford to take SAT prep or test prep, some people can't, and really it's just like familiarity really will help you get that score up if that's what you want. But this is not like, it's not going to define you as all. So yeah, we can move on. Oh, and also one thing, I don't know if you guys have heard about subject tests. That's been discontinued. So just like, don't even think about it. I think it was discontinued in 2021. But yeah, they don't exist anymore. And then undergraduate sizes, we touched upon this a little bit earlier, and this can also go hand in hand with location and liberal arts versus research. But just some things you want to think about are like, class sizes we talked about, but also just in campus and social life. Like, do you want to be seeing the same people every single day when you hang out? Or would you rather go to like a bigger school? Like, do you want to be in a 500 person class? Or do you want to be able to like approach the teacher after class without waiting for everyone to leave? And larger schools do typically have more services. I'm not going to say that smaller schools don't have services, but if we're going to put it on a scale, yeah, they might have more options, more clubs, activities, but they also might be like less personal, and you might get a feeling of being like a number rather than like an actual participant. So just some things to keep an eye out. Again, there are benefits and drawbacks to everything. But yeah, I just want to keep in mind.
Another thing I was gonna add is like at a large university, I mean, you're just like one small fish in a pond. Is that the saying? Anyways, like there's so many other people, so sometimes it can be kind of like competitive. Like while there are a lot of resources offered, like usually you have to like work super hard and like fight for it and like advocate for yourself because no one's gonna be like holding your hand. Um, and that's not saying like medium and small colleges aren't as competitive. I mean, just like Tom just said, like if we're gonna put it on a scale, that's just how it is because there's more people.
Yeah, and like to that point, so I'm on the big fish, and actually I wouldn't even call myself a big fish, but point is I go to a smaller college, and the benefit to that is like I guess yeah, the biggest benefit is the personalized relationship with your professor. So I had this one professor, and he was always like giving me the option whenever I wanted to go to New York. He gave me the option to go with him in his car. And then also like he would help me through, at the time I was like preparing for some finance interviews, and he knew a lot about the topic. So he would like be willing to get lunch with me and like do some mock interviews and like teach me some concepts one-on-one. That's been my experience on the smaller undergraduate size, but I'm sure there are benefits to larger colleges as well, especially since we mentioned research opportunities earlier, but also like on campus, there are much more opportunities similar to that as well.
So now moving on to academics. If you have like interests of studies that you already know of right now, one thing you can look at is if your college offers that, because some colleges, maybe like smaller in size, might not have like this really niche, not even niche, but like some of them just have like less programs of studies offered. So you can look at majors, minors, different types of programs. Can you double major? Can you double minor? One thing I was looking at when I was researching was neuroscience. That was something that I was interested in when I was applying, and I found that a lot of the small liberal arts colleges didn't often offer neuroscience. So that kind of like deterred me from that. But yeah, that was just my own personal reasoning because I knew that I wasn't like 100% set on it, but like if I wanted to, like in the future, I wanted to have that option. And then programs, are there like pre-med, pre-law, whatever programs with good support from like the school? Because some schools have more focus on like a certain program than another. What are the benefits? I guess another thing, like study abroad, if you could do that, and how that works with like your financial aid package, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I just have one more thing to add that I like just thought of right now. A lot of colleges might seem like high school 2.0 with all the gen ed requirements. And my school actually is really great in that we don't have any gen ed requirements. So we can just get right into like taking classes for our major or taking like just random classes for anything you want. And that really will save you a lot of time, and it'll give you more chances to just really explore your interests. If you don't mind the general requirements, that's great. Like it's great to learn about like English and math sometimes, but if you know that like you don't want to do math ever again, then you can look into schools with open curriculums. Wesleyan has an open curriculum. So that's just something you can consider.
I'm on the opposite end of that. I'm at Columbia and our core program is very infamous. So we have to take a bunch of general ed or like required classes. But actually that was one of the things I was looking forward to and I wrote about in like my like why Columbia essay is because of the core. Like I said, I was interested in neuroscience, but like overall I was very much undecided. I still am, obviously. And I feel like that the core would like push me to like get out of my comfort zone, try different areas of studies, things that I would never have like tried before, but then maybe I like. So far I'm liking it. So yeah. And then another thing that you can keep your eye out for are extracurriculars. So if you have like a really unique interest, or if you just want to play soccer, or I don't know, if you like underwater basket weaving, if there's a club for that or like a group for that on campus, and you know, something that like away from academics, obviously you need to have something else that you could enjoy when you're on campus, and making sure that you have like a community there. And then if there isn't, like maybe like what's the process like for starting a club, or like is it hard or is it easy, that sort of thing. Is there like a Himalayan / Tibetan club? Is there like an SFT there? Just some things to think about.
Yeah, I think with that, something else to consider hand in hand is like culture of the campus. Like, do you want to hang around people who look like you, or do you want to be around like all different sorts of people? Maybe if you like frats or sororities, then if you're looking for Greek life, maybe something like a school like Wesleyan would not be best for you. But just, yeah, you want to like think about like whether you'll be happy in a school, and whether you'll be thriving socially and academically and whateverly.
For financial aid, there's different ways to break it down. There's scholarships, grants, loans, and federal work study. So scholarships are based on your need. So like how much your family contribution is expected to be. And that's based on your family income or merit. Like if you write an essay or if you had like a 4.0, something like that, that's based on your merit. And then grants, you don't have to pay back, but because that's based on your need. And then loans, they can be either subsidized, so you pay back with interest, so you pay a little bit more after graduation, or unsubsidized and you pay interest while in college. And I don't know if this is like super relevant, but I mean, it's very rare, but there's loans out there with like no interest. Luckily, I was able to find one with that. And so, you know, that would be like the most ideal situation. That way you just pay back what you loaned. But, you know, the most popular ones are subsidized or unsubsidized. And there's also federal work study. And so usually like your college or university would give that to you based on your need. And so you can work an on-campus job, and that's just like the student contribution. You pay off the remainder of your own personal costs.
Yeah, and on the point of financial aid, some of these private universities, they have a history of being infamously white. So like 90% of the school is white. So they want more diversity. So they'll pay you whatever to like have you join them. So like I don't know, if your family makes below like around like 60K, then you'll probably be paying like $2,000 per semester compared to like $40,000. So yeah, jump to
Did you finish?
yeah.
Yeah, and I was just gonna add, I think it can be daunting to look at these prices when you're applying, but just, well, I guess I'm speaking more for private colleges. Don't let the price be the reason you don't apply. Definitely apply, maybe you'll get in, but often with private schools, again, diversity is a big thing. But let's say they give you a certain amount and you need a bit more, you can ask them if they can provide you with more. That's something I did, and I was actually granted like a lot more than I asked for. So it's possible, and just don't let that scare you away from applying. Like if you're going to be getting a no, like you want to hear like an actual no, don't just tell yourself I'm not going to do it. And then you're going to say something.
Yeah. While you're researching a college and you're interested in figuring out how much money you'd have to pay if you went there, then you can search up the college's name and then put net cost calculator. I think every college has it. You just put in your family's information, like not too much serious information, but just like basic information about how much money they're making, how many people are in your family, whether you guys own a house, etc. And then they'll give you like an estimate of how much money you'd be paying if you were to go to that college. Something fun to look at.
Yeah, another thing I just thought about was how unfortunately some colleges or universities can be kind of sneaky. So like if you get back a financial aid package and you think, oh my gosh, they gave me like $40,000, and you look at it and it's like so much interest to the point where it's gonna end up costing more than if you just took like a grant-based / scholarship-based financial aid package from like a private university. That's something that I noticed when I was applying to like different types of universities. I mean, I was kind of scared at first for Columbia's price tag. I mean, I think this year is like 86,000. And coming here, it's been kind of like crazy to hear people being like, oh yeah, I pay full tuition. It's like, what? But I'm on the opposite end of that. So, but yeah, luckily Columbia came through with the financial aid. And also there's like little tiny scholarships. I really recommend like looking for like locally based ones. I know there's like the huge national ones. But I find like the really nice ones are the local ones. Also look at your Tibetan Community Center. They might also have some scholarships as well. And another fun thing you can look at once you have like an idea of like some colleges that you might be interested in are fly-in / diversity programs. Not every college / university have these, but you can just search it, Google it up. I personally did too. I did UPenn's and Swarthmore's, but that was like during the online year, so I didn't actually get to fly out, which was kind of sad, but it was on Zoom and I still feel like I got a pretty good idea of what the college was like. Basically they just kind of like explain like what type of academics they offer, all the extracurriculars, just like more in-depth detailed information than what you could have just found on their website. I think UPenn's was especially like really interesting because I know like it's historically really like competitive to get in, and we have that note on the side of like you're more likely to get into their school if they also accept you to your fly-in. Which was true because like 90% of the people I did the program with, they ended up getting in. But for me, that was just like an eye-opener of like why I wouldn't like want to like go to this school, why I wouldn't fit in. But I also liked some of the aspects too. Basically, it was really just like personal. Like I remember UPenn's being like, what color to wear during our interview. Like they recommended wearing like a bright colored shirt, which I thought was really interesting. But yeah, just like really niche stuff that they like included in that. But I feel like this year might be in person, hopefully. And usually it will be like open is around the summer of your junior year, so this year, and then they'll pay for everything. But that being said, the target population of these programs are like first generation, lower income students, BIPOC students, and they're looking for some sort of like high achieving background or like things that you've accomplished in high school.
Yeah, so I guess considering everything that we had just talked about, I think in the beginning it was easy to think, oh, our options are so limited. Like, let me just apply to all these like top 25 schools. But just like how you guys as applicants are more than just like a list of numbers and scores, your college list should also be just as varied and purposeful. So just like think of all those things when we're making our college list. Target and reach switched. What?
Yeah, sorry about that. You got it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
good eye.
Apologies. Thank you for catching that. Yeah. Okay, then let's start with safeties. That they're exactly what they sound like. Your admissions is probably almost nearly guaranteed. So again, like we don't want to just look at grades, but if we have to, they're significantly higher than the average number of students who are admitted. And then target, which we will look in the middle one. Sorry about that. Target schools are schools that you have a pretty decent chance of getting admitted to. And overall, your academic performance should align pretty closely with the students of the school. Thank you. And then for reach schools, they're also what they sound like. A lot of people call them dream schools. They have pretty highly competitive admissions. And your test scores, GPA, class rank, they might be below those of the majority of accepted schools. But again, this is not to like discourage you from applying, but having safety target and reach schools as part of your list is really important because the application process itself is very complicated. So you don't want to just risk your chances of only applying to reach and then not getting to anywhere. Or you also don't want to, a mistake that I did was I was really like just insecure about myself and I didn't apply to many reach schools. But you don't know if you don't just apply. So yeah, that's all I have to say. And just like the whole, like it's very unpredictable. So just creating a balanced list will increase your chances of getting into whatever school you want, rather than just like taking a gamble at only a few ones.
Yeah, one thing I will say is like while they are like safety targets and reaches are defined here by like their acceptance rates, like just because like a school is like 40% acceptance rate doesn't mean that's your target necessarily. It really depends on like who you are as a student, as an applicant. Like someone's target might be your reach, someone's reach might be your target. I don't know. It really depends on like your application. So I just feel like it's not really helpful. It's not like really helpful to compare yourself to other students.
All right. Well, question was already in the chat. How many schools do you recommend applying in total? Really depends on you, but the amount that we would recommend is like around 6 to 9. But so I applied to 26. Big mistake. Spent way too much time. All right. Kind of like sacrificed my senior year for nothing. But the better approach would be to think more carefully about those 6 to 9 schools that you're applying to and really research them to figure out whether you really like them or not.
Yeah, and let me clarify my answer. I'm so sorry. I actually only applied to 9 schools, and the reason why I said 10 to 12 is because like the whole like being insecure thing. Out of the 9 schools that I applied to were mainly like safety and targets. And so I guess let me just change my answer and say it should be more diverse. But 69, 6 to 9 is also a pretty good number. Just if you're like me and would apply to more target schools and add on to your list and apply to more reach schools as well. That's just what I meant to say. Sorry about that.
I applied to 5 and 4 of them were Ivies, but that's just like it really depends on your situation. Because me personally, I was applying through QuestBridge, so that's just kind of how it ended up being. I just applied to 1 safety while I was applying to the 4 reaches, even though that technically wasn't allowed. But hey, I had to have a safety somewhere.
Cool. And to answer the next question, if you guys have that, how do I start my college list search? Of course, we can start off with like the basic lists online. You'll see a bunch of rankings that are based on like programs, specialties, best dining hall, best I don't know, crew team, whatever. But like that's always a great point to start. And then you can start looking at other colleges that are similar to that, and then kind of dig yourself into that rabbit hole and find until you find a school that's a better fit than the school that you started with. So the next activity we're about to do is gonna help you answer. Oh yeah, before we go into it, do you guys have any questions so far? Put it in the chat, unmute yourself. How are you guys processing this so far? Everything sounds good? Are you sure? Yeah, great question. Wait, Norzen, you applied to a few, so do you want to answer that?
Oh, yeah. So there's like different like scholarships is like very general, but if you're talking about like the bigger ones in terms of what you're going to be a part of or applying to when you're in college, I mean, I applied through QuestBridge. So I didn't apply through Common App. QuestBridge is like a nonprofit organization that, you know, tries to help high achieving lower income students, also usually first gen students, match or like go to, you know, the nation's top colleges or whatever. There's like 50 colleges that they partner with. So you could like look into that too, of what they offer, because they might not have the college that you like. But yeah, and through that it was like a different like application process, and I think it started very early, usually like around the early decision. Wait, were we supposed to have a slide about that? Oh, the next one. Okay. It usually started around like the early decision like application season. So I want to say like it opened in like September, or it was due in September. Basically, like I finished my personal statement by the end of the summer and was like working on like the rest of like my extracurriculars, like filling in that side, that sort of list. And I submitted by like the end of September. And so I found out like by December where I was going. So yeah, I would say for me that started this junior / to senior fall. It started that year for me. There's also like other big scholarships like Gates Scholarship, Posse Scholarship, Jack Kent Cook Scholarship. Usually there's like phases, there's like rounds to that, just like QuestBridge had. Like you become a semifinalist, a finalist, and then you match or you don't match, or you go through like another like round. And then after like the bigger like national scholarships, there's like a bunch of smaller ones, local ones that you could apply to. Usually after you submitted like all your other college applications. I applied to like my Tibetan Association one. I tried applying to the Asian whatever APIA scholarship. Basically, there's like smaller ones that you could also apply to after you've submitted your college apps. Yeah, I could answer the QuestBridge question. I'm really excited and happy that you're thinking of applying because I think QuestBridge is awesome. Statistically, yes, it would increase your chances if you were to be a prep scholar of getting into the national match program. That's what I did. I was a prep scholar too in my junior year. And I also applied for like the Quest for Excellence Award, which was like a nice award that I could put on my application, even if I weren't to get into the national match. But yeah, statistically, I would say yes. That being said, there are a few people who like don't get in, but that's because of like, I don't know, other circumstances. Also, like if you don't get in, like that doesn't mean you don't have a chance for the national match either. I know a bunch of people who weren't prep scholars and then they ended up matching in their senior year. So that also, there's like, it really varies. How challenging is QuestBridge? I'm not sure like exactly what you mean, but like in terms of like competitive, like how challenging it is to get in. I think it's like a pretty low acceptance rate. I think my year was like less than 30% or something like that for the prep scholars program. And then for the national match, it was less than that. Oh, the workload. Oh, we don't really like have work to do. It's kind of just like financial aid that they give. It's really like, I know QuestBridge sounds like it's like you're part of this like group of people who like work towards something, but really it's, I think it was just like an honor / award I could put on my application to show colleges that like, you know, this organization has recognized me as like a high achieving lower income student, and that just kind of like made me stand out. I didn't really like do any work as like part of QuestBridge. Mostly like applying to it was like the challenging part, just because there are like so many essays, more than like you would if you applied to like with the Common App. But I personally like that because I feel like I get to tell my story better and with more context, with more essays. So yeah, the workload wasn't too bad. I think it was nice in the end. When do we start applying to fly-ins? Again, I kind of forgot, but you can usually Google like the college that you're interested in if they have a fly-in and when's the application deadline. I want to say it was sometime in the summer, or like I applied in the summer and I did it like the first couple months of my senior year, because I think that's when you're like researching and like finalizing your list. At least that's what I remember. But I'm not like 100% sure. So again, I would say Google it.
Okay, I think we can move on to our activity. All right, we had a little interesting brainstorming session last night. We were about to call this, actually no, I'm not gonna go into that. Anyways, so we're gonna be split up into breakout rooms, and you're gonna be given a college. Okay, you've probably like never heard of this college before, or like at least that's what we designed it to do, so that you have no kind of like preconceived notion of what to expect from them. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna be split up into groups, and you're gonna research information about the college based on what we've shown you so far. So location, size, et cetera, major, extracurricular offerings. And then in the end, you guys are gonna just like say whether you would apply or deny. Very, very straightforward, but like we're gonna be hopping in and out of breakout rooms to answer any questions there are. We're doing this activity to simulate the rest of your college search process so that we can give you a good foundation and like give you guys feedback on how you guys were thinking about this. But yeah, again, if you have any questions, then you can like call us into your room, and it should be. I was gonna say it should be fun. It will be fun, I guess, but make of it what you will. So hold on 1 second. Just 1 second. All right, awesome. So I think that slide should be open to everybody now. It's in the chat. We're gonna put you guys into breakout rooms. Pick a slide based on the breakout room number, and then have at it. We'll give you guys like 10 minutes. Sound good? Any questions? All right. Enjoy learning about these colleges.
Wait, I had to rejoin, so I don't have a breakout room because I disconnected.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, I assigned it to you.
Oh, should I go into the breakout room now?
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh my god, I don't think I've been a host of a meeting before. This looks so cool. Okay, I'm just gonna hop in.
Are you gonna hop in or?
Wait, my sister just called me.
Hey, do you guys have any questions?
Okay, I'm gonna hop into a room now. Sorry. No, there's only one. I'll go into two then. Wait, do you know if they have access now?
Yeah, I just changed it.
Okay, I'm gonna head back then.
Right, I'll be back.
Oh, okay. Which room did you go to before?
I went to 5.
Okay, then I won't go. How's 5? They just didn't refresh.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about this workshop? Like how
I don't-
successful do you think it was?
I mean, time-wise, it's fine. I think next time we'll try to like get more dialogue on the panel and then try to make it a little bit more fun.
Mm.
Would it be like devious to close it right now?
A bit. Let's wait like until 12:16. There's like 40 seconds left.
Okay.
Wait, who's gonna be on the panel for the next workshop?
So ask Gesang.
Gesang? Which
Gesang
Gesang?
Wamo.
Stony Gesang?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, this is like not from Rokpa people?
Like previous mentors as well. So
Wait, Gesang was a mentor?
pretty sure, yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Sange from huh?
Smith?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Tenzin Lama.
The singer? NYU?
No, the she goes to USC, I think.
Oh, her. Yes, yes.
I'm gonna close the breakout rooms now,
Okay.
just because it's time to wrap up.
Do you need more panelists? Oops.
Like maybe 2 more, 3 more. You guys have fun. Sorry, bad joke. All right, everybody should be trickling in. All right, I think everybody's back now. So let's do this. So group 1, do we have a elected speaker?
Yeah, we have 2 actually because we couldn't decide on which one that we'd say. But I said I would not apply here because of its location, and I think I want to be in a bigger community rather than like a smaller one that's like slightly rural and suburban, but that's just me.
I said that I'd apply because it's a small community and all the students kind of know each other, and the class size is also very small. And for me, I've always gone to smaller class size schools and I've really enjoyed it. So I want to continue that.
Nice. Hey, can I push you guys a little bit? So Tricky, you mentioned that you wouldn't apply. Can you mention something that you like that you found so far about this college? And then can you share something about like what you don't like as much?
Yeah, I did like that they had a lot of options for your choosing your major. They talked about some of their more commonly chosen ones, like psychology, which I think is interesting. So I like that they offer that.
Nice. And then?
Could you repeat?
Yeah, so you mentioned what you like about the college. Can you mention something that you don't like as much?
The course, because there's 10 core courses, and I felt that's a little bit overboard.
That's fair, yeah. So again, like you guys are thinking to what you like and what you don't like. So for example, Yundan, he said he likes being in a small college or in a where it's easier to build a community, but he doesn't like the core courses. From there, he could like look into what colleges satisfy those needs. So Chamdu mentioned Wesleyan before. I know Amherst has that kind of situation as well. So that train of thought processes is like pretty important, and like we're trying to start this off right now. Awesome. We can go to the next one. Do we have a speaker?
So I was a part of this group, and me personally, I don't think I would apply to this school because it's one, it's located in like suburb Georgia, and I would like to stay like relatively around like the Northeast. And also the school population is pretty small. And right now I'm kind of leaning towards maybe majoring in something in business or like finance. And this school's more of like a liberal arts, like psychology and creative writing.
Nice. Like when you were in your group, what did other people think? Were they all in agreement with you?
I was also in this group, and I would agree. It's kind of small, and it does offer like biology and pre-med majors, which I'm interested in, but the student population is just not really that big, and I think I'd like to be more of, it's also suburban, and I think I'd like to be closer to the city.
Great, yeah. And just like the previous group, you can use what you like and what you don't like to find others that line up better with your interests. Great, yeah. We can move on now.
If you want to refresh your slide, we added a couple things. Yeah, sorry. Okay, sorry. There's talking in the background. So yeah, this is a liberal arts school that kind of heavily relies on music. It's kind of known for the conservation of music. It's 3 terms, which I don't know how that would work, but yeah, it's located in Appleton, Wisconsin, which is, I think it's a suburban area. It has lots of snow. Its acceptance rate is 75%. So it's and the undergrad enrollment is 1,000. So it's fairly small. So I guess it just depends on what you're looking for in a college. I know for me, I think it's a deny. But yeah.
Yeah, I also agree. I think that something I thought was interesting, but I wasn't really like I personally wouldn't be interested in it. It's like the music thing, because I'm not like interested in music, and I don't want to like pursue like a career in it. So yeah, and something that I liked was that there was snow, and in California we don't really get snow that much, so I thought that was cool.
You said you're not interested in music. What are you interested in?
I was thinking like computer science or finances.
Nice. Thanks for sharing. Any other people that want from this group that want to speak up?
I said that I wouldn't go to this because it's too far away. I'm from New York, so I want to stay like somewhere like maybe Boston, but like I don't know anyone from Wisconsin. And also I'm not interested in music. I'm more interested in pre-med or nursing.
Nice. Nice. Great. Let's keep it rolling.
So this is our school for group 4, and it's a great example of a good safety school when you look at the stats. But the thing is, we all collectively decided that we would not attend, mainly because of the environment in the school and outside the school. For example, when looking at websites for like more oriented to personal experiences like Reddit, we heard from students who actually attended there that there was bad food on campus, and then it was way too rural for our liking. So it was really far from the surrounding town. As you can probably see in that picture, it looks like they put that school in the middle of the Great Plains. And the town area is like underdeveloped and unfinished. There are lots of like boarded up stores and stuff. So that was like the main reason. And if anyone else in my group wants to add on, they can.
Also, like with it being very rural, I think it will come with like a lack of diversity, and I just can't deal with that.
That's totally fair, yeah. Huh.
Did we find anything we liked about using Merced?
Okay, I guess one thing, there are lots of like student organizations in the school, which can be good. And also like, I think, oh yeah, it's like the #1 like sustainable school in the country. So that's pretty cool as well.
Example, you can always search for like more personalized information on Reddit. I used to use TikTok to see like what the students post about the school, usually like complaints or like, I don't know, day in the life vlogs, etc. But that can be a little bit too glamorized. But Reddit's like a solid middle ground. Also, I'm pretty sure this was like a relatively new school. It was like they created the school in like 2000 or something like that. So just throwing it out there. Next group.
We didn't really decide who's gonna go, but I'll just go. Ours is Alberta College. It's in Canada, Edmonton, and the acceptance rate's like 58%. So it'd be like safety or something like that. It's known for like, it has like a broad reputation for like its education. So it's good in science, business, engineering, humanities, and more. the student population is about 40,000, which is like pretty big. So like I don't think I would go into it because like earlier you were saying like tuned in or some about like having like kind of like a close relationship with the professor. That's kind of what I'm looking for, and like someone to like mentor and like guide me through whatever, so I don't like mess up and make mistakes, which I mean mistakes are inevitable, but yeah. They require like a 3.5 GPA. And yeah.
I was in this group. So I don't like to go to this college because it's too big, the population, and it's also very far from my home.
Oh yeah, it's also far, and like I don't like the snow that much. Yeah.
Nice. So we have people who like snow and don't like snow. Great. I think that's all right. Cool. Yeah, so these aren't the most blockbuster colleges. Seems like all of you guys were in agreement for most part on denying what we have here, but it's better to start off that way just because it gives you a better idea of what you want and what you don't want, and then you're leaning more towards what you don't want and looking for a better fit. So hopefully you can take this experience to think about that and then continue this process as well. Great. We can move on to just like talking about applying early, because again, these somewhere along the line, you'll probably find like a school that you think is an amazing fit for you. And there's a chance that those colleges will have these options for applications. So using that as a segue to talk about applying early versus applying regular. So there are three types of early applications. There's the early decision, early action, and restrictive early action. Early decision, two words, binding and restrictive. Binding as in if you're accepted, then you have to go, unless there's like some kind of issue on the financial side. But besides that, you have to go. And restrictive as in you can only apply to a one binding you can only apply through one binding application. So that means that you can't apply to two schools early decision. Straightforward enough, right? Early action is just a little bit more lenient. It's non-binding, so you don't have to commit. If you get in, you can say no, I don't want to go. But like the good thing about it is that you get it early. So I know that a lot of the schools that would normally fall under the category of being a target or safety have early action options, and you can apply to those schools through early action, and then so that you can set a foundation and be like, okay, I know I got into college, now let's see where else I can apply. Restrictive early action, it's more common among the Ivy League schools and the super competitive ones, but it's non-binding but restrictive, as in non-binding, like you can say no, but you can only apply to one of them. Right. So early decision, the good thing about early decision is that if you find a school that you really like, then you can apply. And usually these early decision applications will have a higher acceptance rate. So they'll take on more of the students that apply early decision. But with that said, if you're applying to like a really competitive school, like for example, like Williams, then there's a chance that there are other students who are like you that are looking to apply early. And so it just makes the nature of the early decision applicant pool more competitive. So it might actually make it harder for you to get an early decision than regular decision. There is the benefit that you'll finish the process early, get into your dream school, and have a great senior year. but also have to consider the admission officer's perspective, because let's say you're starting your new job as an admission officer and your first task is to admit these early decision applicants. You're being judged by your boss, so you want to make as an admissions officer, you want to make a good decision, right? So you'll probably be more rigorous in like choosing the perfect applicant, and so they'll read your application with really strong scrutiny, and then that might differ from the regular application when they've gathered a little bit more experience and they're a little bit more lenient in that. So it could really go either way, but the main thing that you should think about is if this is really a school that you want to go to, then you should consider applying early. Otherwise, it's not worth it to consider chances and like which route is easier. We talked about early action before, right? Same benefits as early decision. You get like that relief saying, oh, I got into college, and then you can move on from there. And you also have to fill out the supplements just a little bit earlier if you planned on finishing up the application in December or something. Yeah, I think that's all. We can open the floor up to any questions we have. How are you guys doing on the information so far? You can go to the next slide. Anybody want to share? Oh, if I apply to a school with early action, can I apply to that same school with regular decision? I don't think you can, because if you apply early action, you'll either get rejected, you'll get deferred, or you'll get accepted. If you get deferred, you're being pushed into the regular decision application pool. So there's no need to apply regular decision to a school that you apply early action to. Good question. Ooh, okay. I realize that we're running. Yeah, we ran like 5 minutes over. Sorry about that, guys. Any last minute thoughts, questions we can address? If not, you're always free to email us. You know where to find us. Yeah. Any departing thoughts? Cool. In that case, we have another workshop planned for next week. We're gonna have a panel of mentors from Rokpa. So we're trying to gather a range of experiences from like large research universities to smaller liberal arts colleges, and we'll try to we're gonna have that range of experiences at the next workshop. So just be prepared to ask any questions that you guys might have regarding their experiences, or just like general advice on how to approach this process. But also, it's gonna be we're gonna have like a bit of Q&A session where we'll lead the discussion, but then we'll open it up to you guys as well. So I think that's all we have for today. We'll share this recording with you guys later if you guys want to refer to it. And you guys can continue to search for other colleges that might be a great fit for you.
Oh, we have one last question.
Yeah, it's different for every org because when I was applying to Posse, I think that was around the beginning of September. And I think it's like still relatively similar, but I don't think it's very immediate right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the big national ones start a little bit later, like maybe end of summer, during that time. But also like I think there are like little scholarships that you could start applying to now. You just have to like do your own research. Like for example, like the QuestBridge College Prep Scholars. Within that, there was the Quest for Excellence Award, which was like $1,000 that I could spend like for a laptop or like I could save for my college savings or whatnot. And I got that over the summer. So that's just like an example of something that's like kind of more like current or something that you can start doing now if that's something that you qualify for.
I think generally right now might be a little bit early, but also again, like the whole being very individualistic. Like I know for me, I take a long time to write, so I need as much time as I can, and a lot of these scholarships are very writing heavy. So if you feel like if you already know the prompts, and if starting early would be helpful, so you can like craft your application to the best it can be, then you can start early. But yeah.
The end mark here. So we'll see you guys next weekend with the mentor panel. Be excited. Come with any questions that you guys may have regarding their experience, how the process went for them, or just the experience of being Tibetan at one of these colleges. Great. We'll share this meeting recording with you guys. And yeah, see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.